when I lived in the Granada, it was Murphy beds, and you could always hear your neighbors upstairs fucking, like, or wham, wham, boom, 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 wham, wham, boom, 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 ah! This is like, like that's it. 4 squeaks and a pound and you're done. So anyway, I sort of based that painting off of them. I came from a very gay family, so I was raised around same-sex couples and around gay people. Some of my earliest memories are being, sort of plopped on a bar stool and given a Coke with some cherries in it. So I sort of naturally gravitated towards that sort of nightclub stuff. I really went more into a sort of underground scene that was really beneficial as an artist. I really cut my teeth on this sort of idea of having nothing or making something out of nothing all the time. Communal living, communal eating, being in a band, communal drinking and drugging, all these ideas of, really scavenging for what you have, whether it's from the curb or whether it's from garage sales or things that people give you. That really played an early part in the art that I was making at that time, because I really used a lot of cast-off things. What was on the corner of 11th and Pine was a really viable street art corner. It was papered. There was a mural painted there for the Native American man that the Seattle PD shot and killed. There was all sorts of political stuff, and it was thick with posters and with stencils and with just everything. It had accumulated for a long, long time. And they fenced the building off, and they built this, they took it all down, and it was gone. And that corner sort of gave you a real sense of what was happening in this neighborhood. Whether it be political, whether it be what bands were playing, whatever it was, it gave you a sense of what was going on in this neighborhood. And that was wiped away. All of a sudden, this cloud moved in, this sort of malaise of this tearing down this existing neighborhood and building this new neighborhood for new people to come in. Historically, any of the historic neighborhoods were these sort of safe zones where it was like, okay, you know what, you don't want us here and you don't want us in the suburbs and you don't want us in your community, so we're going to go and find these, we're going to have these places, these refuges. These people who come from other places, they want this sort of, to live this urban life, but they want the comfort and the convenience of the suburbs, but within an urban area. There's an idea that comfort and convenience really sort of lull you into this false sense of safety, which, for any creative person, staying on your toes or really, realizing, wow, I have to work all the time to try to make it, to try to pay the rent, to try to eat, to try to do all this stuff, keeps you at your best. There was this talk that you would hear through media about how, you don't need the gayborhood anymore. You were sort of liberating you from that. I think gay marriage was part of that. That look, you don't need to live in these, what they used to call the gay ghetto anymore. The problem is some of us kind of want that. We live in Warhol's world. You're living in it now. This is it. This is fame for fame. This is, a constant stream of images and of people and of faces who really are all surface. It's all about surface. There's no substance behind it at all. And we move through this world that's full of all kinds of signs and signals and messages that are we're constantly being bombarded by them. Most of them being advertising. So I think when there's a message that's clearly outside of trying to sell you anything, that people move towards it, or they gravitate towards it, or they'll look at it, or they'll think about it, which is great. I don't really need another billboard of an iPad up above me. That's not really going to make me think about anything except the fact that I'm broke and I can't afford an iPad. Whereas this is a message for you. This is a message for you. I have made a lot of work around dicks and around penises. I have a street art that I use that's called Legendary Dick. And people react to that. It's so funny. Men's bodies, men's, genitalia, or men's parts are sort of hidden still. It's this sort of novelty item. Jägermeister must have contracted with these artists to paint this advertising mural, which had an icy bottle of Jägermeister and glasses of Jägermeister, and above it said, "Relive the night you were legends on Cap Hill." This is in light, too, of a neighborhood that was suffering from people being gay bashed on the regular every weekend because of this influx of young bros from wherever they're from, the east side or from the college, and their girls, and just over drinking and over serving and getting into fights and beating up gay people.
A plea from community leaders on Seattle's Capitol Hill tonight, asking the city for help in curbing crime, and that includes hate crimes.
All these new shops and restaurants and nightclubs. The only difference is here on Capitol Hill, it's the center of gay and lesbian life in the city, and people have a perception that hate crimes are on the rise.
So this idea that they would paint this giant billboard in the neighborhood that said, "Relive the night you're a legend on Cap Hill," and you could upload your video to their website. So I went across the street, I'm thinking, this is the most douchey thing I've ever seen. So for some reason I thought, well, it's, I just made this giant penis and I painted on it "Legendary" and pasted it up right across the billboard. And it was big. It was like 10 feet long penis. And the sun come up the next morning, and then the pictures started showing up on the internet of it. And it only lasted a day, and they went out and they peeled it down. So then I started making more of them. Everybody can work quietly in their studio, but really you can take it to the streets, especially with visual art, you can. Whether it's spray paint or graffiti or stickers or all this sort of stuff that's out on the street is a really viable, really important sort of public art. It's public art that doesn't go through channels, that doesn't go through committees, that doesn't have 5 people in a room with a projector showing images and then they decide what everybody's going to see.
This is the epicenter of gay Seattle, and now with new clubs and construction, Capitol Hill is a destination spot that can bring trouble.
Once a neighborhood is sort of safe for this, this white girl who's, in her yoga pants and her Uggs with her Starbucks kind of shuffling around on her phone, that it was pretty much, the death knell for a neighborhood. She's the harbinger of doom. Once she arrives, everything else follows.
First things first, I'm the realest. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. And I'm still in the murder business. I can hold you down like I'm giving lessons in physics. Right wrist, taking all the liquor straight, never chase that. Now rooftop like we bringing 88 back. What?
And when you are digging up every single corner and you're rebuilding and you're pushing out, you are destroying history. You're not honoring the history. If I'm just some kid coming because I got a good tech job at Amazon and I want to live in the city, you're moving into this historically gay neighborhood, and you know what? There's been a lot of legendary dicks around here. And now you just want, your granite countertops. You don't want to identify that, wow, this is, a historical place for gay men to live safely.